Welcome once again to eLive Unplugged. We're speaking with Richie Stevens, born Richard Stevenson in Westmoreland, yeah?
Yeah.
You this year received an award from the government of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's an award that they are recognizing the work that I've been doing with the foundation of our music, which is ska. I've been dabbling in and out of ska for many years, but since 3 years, I decided to go full speed ahead because I think ska music is one of our greatest genres of music. And even though we no longer celebrate it here in Jamaica, it is still one of the most celebrated music around the world. So I've decided to really go full speed ahead. And on my journey, I met some musicians from Italy who basically have the same interests. And we decided to come together to start Richie Stevens and the Ska Nation Band. So we out there touring. We put out an album 2 years ago, and our new album is now out. So we have 2 albums so far, and we're getting ready again early next year to go on a more extensive tour of the world. So I was on a tour last year. No, this year in August, sorry. We were touring in Europe. We did Summer Jam, and Summer Jam was a magnificent look for us. And after that, we got a call from the government of Jamaica, Ministry of Culture herself, Babsy Grange, and they expressed interest in inviting us to come and perform at the Grand Gala in the National Stadium. So we gladly accepted the invitation, and while we were there performing, to my surprise, I was awarded with this wonderful award for the recognition of what I'm doing with our foundation music. So I was really, really excited about that.
Okay. How did you get started with ska, though?
Well, I always tell people I was born out of ska. You're probably wondering, what is he saying? My mother, as a young aspiring singer, came up in the 60s to try and see if she can get a break. My father was living up the road from my mother, and he was one of the baddest ska dancers back then. And my mother went to a concert that he was dancing. So 2 and 2 make 4, and I turned out to be 6. So that's how I came into this world. My mother met my father at that concert, and you know, they got together, and here I am. So I was born out of ska. So growing up, hearing all the wonderful news about my father being the greatest dancer, because I grew up in Westmoreland. You know, my mother went back to the country, and I was born there, and you know, and I was hearing all this great news about my father being a great dancer. And when I came back to visit him and to live with him for a while, I used to, you know, see him in action doing him thing, and I always wanted to be that. You understand me? So that is why I love to dance on stage, because the memory of my father is always in my head. He's no longer with us, may God rest his soul. But wanted to fulfill that dream.
What was your father's name?
His name is Mr. Eric Stevenson.
So he used to dance on stage? He used to...
Yeah, my father used to dance to send himself to school, dance in way to survive, you know? And he wanted to be a singer, but Leroy Sibbles was his very good friend. And the singing never loved him. He loved the singing, but the singing never loved him. So I never get the singing from him. I got the singing from my mother, you know.
So explain for me, was he a professional dancer in terms of what an NDTC is like, or he was doing modern dance? Like
all the other youths now from the ghetto, you can't say them as they are professional dancers. They are just dancers by motion, dancers that dance from the soul. They don't know nothing about the professionality of dancing. If you should use certain movement terms, then they probably don't understand what you're saying. But they would dance the night away when the music play. So my father was that kind of dancer. Was just someone that everybody just loved to watch him. You understand? But in terms of saying he's a professional dancer, he has never been to any institution to learn about dancing.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about growing up in Westmoreland?
Growing up in Westmoreland was very exciting for me. I grew up in a time, as I said, back in the 60s, and it was merely peace and love and healthy competition. If it was football, if it was cricket, if it was anything like that, the competition is fierce. So we try to outdo each other and try to be our best. And that is what I always remember about Westmoreland, especially my community, a little community. Hudson Street, more popularly known as Russia. It's a community that really molds you to be the best that you can. And I will never forget those early teachings.
And who were some of your friends, or some of the games that you used to play, some of the things you used to do?
Boy, growing up, I was a very active and physical person, you know. You name the sports, I used to play them, like from football, cricket, you name it. But then, that wasn't enough for me with all the energy that I have. So I naturally just got into gymnastics, me and my friends. You know, all of the bum flicks and the back somersaults and front somersaults and all those things, we learned them from the movies.
So you're watching what, karate movies?
Yes, man. We used to watch every karate movie that come to Jamaica.
And call it Star Boy.
And learn from it, and you'd be amazed. A matter of fact, I started out in entertainment as a martial artist. That might sound funny to you. But what we used to do is to copy what the martial artists used to do in the movies, and every Sunday on the beach, me and my friends just act it out, and people would surround us, hundreds of people, while we carry on the action on the beach, and it was very, very entertaining. So that is how I started out in entertainment. But as I grow older, music just take over my soul. I start singing, people love it. I decided that I want to give this a try. But you know, when you're singing in your community, it's mostly to your friends and your family, so you're not so sure if it's good, you're good, or them just love you. So it wasn't until I start to do a little thing or two outside of my community and getting the same kind of love that I recognize, hey, probably there's some talent there.
Richie Stephens, renowned Jamaican crooner, sharing his journey on eLive Unplugged with us. We take our first break. Stay with us. You don't want to miss a moment of this.